Welcome to the API's presentation. I'm here at the lovely Madeira Valley Heritage Park, also known as Forest Park, in lovely Bridgetown, Bayaboo. Now, for many of those who don't know what part of the island this park is located, it's on the north windward coast of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. And with me today is Senior Technical Specialist for Tourism at the OECS Commission, Mrs. Maria Fowell. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
This is your first time here in Saint Vincent and the Grenadines?
Not the first time in Saint Vincent and the Grenadines, but certainly the first time to this wonderful part of the island.
Wonderful. Yes, the north windward coast is a little rough, but trust me, it gets into your spirit. You just took a lovely little hike at this very special location, the Madeira Valley Heritage Park, which I mentioned is in a part of the country called Bayaboo. Now, this area is very special for some of the historic, the history behind the location. I know you went on a little tour with one of the representatives of the committee overseeing the running of this particular location, and what was it like?
Well, you know, we went up, they said to me that there are 5 levels, and can I make the 5 levels? So I said, well, certainly going to try. And, you know, we got to level 3 and had to go to level 4 and just had to get up to level 5. It's wonderful. You know, it's really a nice little hike. Not too strenuous, but, you know, a nice little hike and nice breeze. And today the weather is really nice, so it was nice. I enjoyed it.
Right, and this part of the country, well, there's a lot of fauna and flora. Were you able to see anything, any unique species or anything that popped out at you on the way?
Well, there were a couple things that, you know, there was a tree that looked like it could have been bay leaf, but the leaves were so big that I thought maybe it might be something else. We saw some other fruit trees. We saw a lot of plants, and you know, this place has a lot of potential for tourism.
Wonderful. And you're here on a special mission from the Commission, specifically to look at this park. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay. So the OECS Commission put out a call for proposals right across the OECS to be able to help support community-based tourism projects. And we had a submission, and it ended up being to the top 10, and then it got into the top 4 for the final selection for support under the European Union program, which is it's called RIGHT, which is Regional Integration through Growth and Growth, Harmonization and Technology. It's a mouthful, so we could call it RIGHT. Okay, so we are supporting the Madeira Valley Forest Park, and we were very pleased to find out that, you know, a lot of the involvement has been from the community from a very early stage. There is so much that has been done. There's so much more to do. So the support was required, and of all of the criteria that we had to determine how do we get to, you know, one of to the proposals that we wanted to support, this one definitely met all. So just to say that we ended up with 4 proposals in 4 different OECS countries.
Wow.
This is the only one for Saint Vincent. The other 3 are in St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and in Grenada.
Okay.
So my mission is to kind of reconcile what was on paper in terms of the proposal and what's actually here, and just for us to see what we're supporting.
Right. And what were some of the criteria for the submission of these projects?
Well, it had to be, it's a community-based tourism project, so the community element is very important. Community tourism is something where you are not, it's not just a nice spot and a nice location. where other people from outside of the community are coming in to benefit. It has to benefit the community itself, and we really did like what we saw the development committee doing, the work that they had undertaken, and how they were able to really get the community involved, and so that was like the main criteria. Obviously, it had to have the potential for tourism, so that was also an important criteria. And it had to have some level of sustainability. So in other words, even after we have provided the support, we hope that in years to come that this is still something that will be on offer in a very important way.
Right. When you came in, I saw you met with some of the community, I would say elders, who were gathered awaiting your arrival, and of course they received you and so on. So that is that element there. What about the structure and maybe the oversight of the facility? Are you giving support to that sort of thing? In terms of community involvement and organization?
The support that we are providing is actually physical support to the site itself.
Right.
So there's some gabion baskets that need to be done to strengthen one of the walls. There are some physical elements of the site that we're going to be supporting. Obviously, there is also some level of capacity building that we would like to provide, not just to the elders, because the elders have they are ready, but for them to pass on as well, right. And to get some of the others that are involved in the community. As you know, this site is a huge site, so it has the potential for tour guiding, for a lot of young persons' involvement, and we hope to be able to build that capacity through our project.
Right,
as well.
To coordinate that sort of, I guess, management of the facility, because it's a really lovely facility. So, support. You mentioned gabion baskets. Is there a quantitative amount set aside for this project?
There is. It is just under 54,000 euros. So what does that translate into EC? That translates, depending on the rate of exchange of the day, so about 169, 170,000
wow, that's a
EC
lot
dollars.
of input. I guess that money would be, given over a time period, and
it is
how is it done? Is it phased?
It is for a specific purpose.
Right.
For a specific purpose, we have fairly stringent procurement procedures, because the funding comes from the European Union, and we need to make sure that the funding is spent in the way that the system allows for. But we're working with the community, we're working with the development committee to be able to do that.
Okay, I know it's kind of preliminary to ask these sort of questions, but do you see anything else that you think, being a specialist for tourism there at the OECS Commission, that you might see here, there's anything that might be upgraded to a different standard?
Oh, I see lots of things.
Okay, so it's like a pet project in a sense.
We walked up and I think that the persons involved are aware themselves of some of the things, but of course I tend to look at things through my tourism eyes.
Yes.
And there's at level 3, there is a nice spot that immediately it said to me wellness. It said to me it had this kind of Zen kind of feeling, maybe some yoga.
Right.
So there's great potential. There's great potential.
Right. The entire area, I think, covers, I didn't quite catch the amount of
it's 5 acres.
5 acres. Wonderful. So each area of the facility will be touched. Well, $169,000, quite a lot.
Well, I don't know that it'll be each area of the facility, but it will be what is needed to take it to the next level.
Right.
And I think that's what's important. Projects such as this one can go on for years. They may have started, quite some time ago, and there's always something that you need to do to be able to upgrade, to be able to, you know, make sure that you're replanting, that, you know, you're making it always in tip-top shape. So there will always be things to do. So,
right.
but hopefully the funds will be able to at least allow to get it to another level.
Is there any time frame for rollout of the specific funding and support, etc.?
I'm here today.
This is the preliminary step.
I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks we can get going.
Right.
Yeah, we really would like to have some kind of impact for this year, and we certainly would want by the end of the year to have something to show for it.
Right. And you mentioned sustainability, which is another key aspect of running and managing these facilities, where they can also pay for themselves. Is that something, well, through capacity building, that you're looking to develop?
Yeah, and the committee certainly has a lot of ideas in terms of how it can be viable, and some of the other opportunities that they would have. And I mean, certainly they can speak for themselves, but I foresee that if some of those ideas are pursued, then certainly you know, the project would definitely be viable.
I think you mentioned yoga, and somebody might be listening and say, all right, maybe I should look at that. So what are your plans for the rest of your trip? You just came in today, and I think you have a full roster.
I came in today, and I mean, this was my prime reason for coming, and to do the site verification, to speak to the committee members, to get some more information, just make sure that we have everything aligns between what is being done and what's on paper. I will be meeting with the Ministry of Tourism tomorrow. Hopefully get to see my friends at the SVGTA, the Tourism Authority, and then I'm on to Grenada on Wednesday. So it's a short trip, but it's always nice to be in Saint Vincent.
Wonderful, and I'm glad you appreciate such an outing as today.
Oh, absolutely.
Do enjoy your stay.
Thank you so much.